All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar on proactive defense, CrowdSec and Suricata made easy with our ambassador, Flavio, who will be hosting and showing you the ropes of our CrowdSec and Suricata integration. So without further ado, I will hand it over to you, Flavio. And I will leave the stage, but I will still be around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So my name's Flaviu Vlaicu. I work in the cybersecurity industry, and today I will be presenting you integration between OpenSense and CrowdSec, and definitely Suricata, that is automatically part of OpenSense. How it all started, I wanted a solution for home network security. At first, I used a solution from Ubiquiti, a gateway. That one was kind of close to say so and didn't offer much possibility to interact with it in the ways that it was hard making modifications to the system and did not offer sufficient performance for 1 gigabit throughput over PPPoE that we are using for a connection in Romania. After that, I've searched for a hardware solution and stumbled upon the guys from OpenSense. I bought the CISO Deck 850V2 that has OpenSense on it, Suricata, and it all started from here. I was looking for other software plugins to add as multiple layers over the OpenSense, and as an alternative to fail to ban, I've discovered CrowdSec. Being part of the CrowdSec ambassador program, for which I am very grateful to have this opportunity now, I started testing multiple solutions and implementations, and this is why we are here for this event today. I will be showing you soon some steps that are already documented and some articles written over them. So there is a possibility to integrate Suricata directly with OpenSense, and this can be done through a plugin that is already available in the CrowdSec collections that can be installed directly on OpenSense as a plugin. And there, what this collection does, first part, it parses the if.json or the fast.log that are the logs from Suricata, and it interacts with the alerts that are, for example, priority 1, priority 2, and 3, And it takes after that a decision that it can be configured based on those alerts. And for example, it can block a specific IP address instantaneously in priority one. And you will need, for example, if you have two priority two triggers, to fulfill the condition in order for them to get blocked. They will be blocked for a specified amount of time that can also be changed on depending on your preferences. Um, so yes, there is a little bit of configuration changes that need to be made in order for Suricata fast log to work. And you will have to have Suricata configuration made in such a way that it does not get reset to the default settings after each reboot of the OpenSense. Okay, I will share my screen so that I can show a bit. Okay, allow entire screen. So we have here in services, this is the CrowdSec plugin that is installed. You have the collections. In the collections, we have the CrowdSec Suricata that is currently enabled. And we see here the information that it is tainted. This means that modifications to this collection and what it contains has been modified and is no longer in the original version. In the alert sections, we see what has been triggered based on Suricata. For example, we have IP addresses that, like this one, Google Cloud Platform, the number of when it was created, and the decision. So there are multiple ways to use CrowdSec with OpenSense and with Suricata. For example, there also is the possibility to have, just a second, to have, for example, block lists and integrations. And you can have, for example, an OpenSense integration where if you have, for example, I have more than 14 block lists currently enabled, and with a total number of 153,000 IP addresses in total. This can be directly integrated with OpenSense itself, but there is a catch. For example, in where you have an alias, you see here that I have CrowdSec integration, and the rules that are loaded, the last update was from today and the timestamp. But in this case, I have 1 million entries in the table of the firewall. So if you would like, for example, to have multiple block lists, you would be constrained or limited by the hardware that you have. So there is a workaround made for this, and it is completely tied to Suricata and CrowdSec, and I will show you right now. So, for example, if I go in var logs Suricata fast log, here we can see all the IP addresses that have been detected by Suricata. And these right now, for example, these are priority 2. In the priority 2, you can block them instantaneously if you modify the collection, or you can have them trigger on multiple attempts when a bucket gets full. This is the logic on how the official CrowdSec integration works. Since all this is made by Suricata, the detection, it will basically get blocked after that by CrowdSec, but you won't have visibility of if it's actually malicious, not malicious, if it's false positive or not. And for that, I have created another log that's called filtered fast log, and I have a Python script that checks whatever is in the fast log, and using the CrowdSec CTI that is on the website with an API integration, before blocking each IP, it makes an additional check and sees if that actual IP address is listed in the CTI or not. For example, I had this specific IP address for this internal IP address and port that is currently open with port forwarding. And it says here CrowdSec CTI malicious. If I take this particular IP and check it in the CTI, this one is unknown. Oh, sorry, I checked the internal one. My bad. So you have all the information here that is presented, and it has been blocked. So basically what this is I will show you, just one moment. I have posted here the CTI API integration. So there is a Python script that is put in user local bin. It's named CrowdSec CTI.python. It is made executable. You can make the script run as a service, and you can add it directly to the Suricata. For example, if I do that right now and say service CrowdSec _CTI restart, I have it functional. So this is made, it is put here in user local etc rc.d, and I have it right here. Besides the CrowdSec official service and the CrowdSec firewall is this one, CrowdSec CTI. It is running as a service. Okay. This is what it does. So you can see here that it reads from filtered fast log. I have all the information that is necessary. It does the blocking. You will need, in order for the CrowdSec collection to still block the IPs from filtered fast log, a modification to the acquisd must be made. So this is normally Suricata fast.log, and it has to be modified to filtered fast log, or whatever you want to name it. You can create an API. The script can be adapted. You can modify, for example, and you can put there different thresholds in order to preserve your API tokens so they don't get used, all of them. If you have in the Suricata, I don't know, 10 triggers in 1 minute or something like that. The script also contains something quite nice. Let me show you. User local bin. No, actually, so this one should be here, the actual Python. So it's CrowdSec CTI.py. So this is the actual Python, the script. And we have here also the logs for the cti.log. And for example, you can see here that these are informational. Each time there is a new IP address in fast.log and is generated by Suricata, it gets added, it gets read by here, and it says that it has made a query. This one, for example, is benign. This one is malicious. And after that, it says added query to filtered fast.log. And after that, it gets automatically blocked. So each time I see here, for example, that there is a query, a new API token has been consumed. But for example, we see here that cache for that specific IP address has been hit. This means that in a specific time that you can modify, like, I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hours, or whatever you want, an IP address has triggered multiple times. Instead of consuming the tokens, it gets read from the cache, and it sees that it was interrogated before. It is added from the cache and is no longer consuming tokens. Okay. So regarding Suricata and CrowdSec, you can have, for example, whitelist good actors, or if you see that you have multiple IP addresses that are benign, you can do in post overflows, you can add a possibility, let's say that you want to allow list CDNs, and then it will no longer query them even with the CTI integration, and they won't get blocked anymore. Because depending on the rules that you have, or the number of rules or collections in Suricata, there could be multiple false positives that can trigger, and you will have legitimate IPs that could be blocked. In the article, you can also find the possibility to have log rotation. Personally, I've disabled as of now eve.log or eve JSON, and I am only using fast log. Since I'm unable to show you on my phone, I will also talk a bit regarding alerts. So a cool way, at least for a home environment, or I don't know, small business, and if you do not want to have a SOC team that is constantly checking on alerts or notifications, you can use CrowdSec and push all the notifications that get blocked by the Suricata collection. That is this one. You can see here that it contains the logs and the alerts. This one is the attack scenario that I talked about regarding the buckets. So for this part right here, it is triggering first time on one event, and there have to be 2 events for priority 2. So these can be modified as you wish. And further, you can use a service that, at least from what I know, it's free, or one-time minimum payment for pushover, where you can create a logo and have your name called CrowdSec. It works on API and push all the alerts that you are using to your phone, or wherever you have the application installed. Here is all the information that needs to be added in order to have this possibility. This is the testing. This is how it looks. At the moment, when I created the article, I integrated the Shodan and also Virus Total in order to check if I wanted that specific IP address, but you can do this using other services, for example, CrowdSec CTI, or you can also use IPDEX from CrowdSec directly. Till now, I haven't had any issues with this integration. So CrowdSec plugin for OpenSense and Suricata has been working flawlessly. even with minor and major modifications to the actual YAML configuration on how it works. Let me see if I have anything that I have skipped. So these are the integrations directly with IP address. So for these ones, you can also make direct firewall rules that you can block if you want, also for outbound. So not only for inbound. So let's say that there is a specific IP address that is considered malicious and it is, or let's say phishing, or it is related to one domain, for example, that you do not want to access. If you specify the rule for outbound, it will get automatically blocked. So in the intrusion detection, you have the rules that are in Suricata. You can enable as many as your hardware can sustain. You can also have rules created custom. For example, you want to do something custom for Luma Stealer or whatever. You want to have a trigger if suspicious activity is done between Mac OS and specific IP addresses from iCloud or whatever. You can then check all of those connections using the integration and the CrowdSec CTI and see if that specific IP address for which the connection has been made is marked or flagged as anything other than benign or okay. Currently, I have 183,000 entries loaded in the console. Just give me a second. So we have also the alerts right here that you can see here that they get triggered based on the scenario, the Suricata major severity, the source IPs, the destination IPs. Currently, this one is for an internal IP address that is port forwarded. In this case, this is a home assistant for home automation server that is exposed. You can see here also the alert name that is triggered directly into Suricata, and you have it as an alert and so on. Okay, there is a bit of fiddling to be made with the actual configuration of Suricata in order to achieve perfect conditions. For example, in these two paths, the config has to be made in order for fast log and optimal efficiency of the config to work. And if you can see here that this is no longer the minimal configuration that is posted here, but this can be adapted easily based on the needs for anyone. Information for the config can be also obtained directly from the Suricata forum. Super friendly people, just put your question and they'll answer if you have any issues or not. And nowadays with AI, you can also have your preferred tool make you Suricata config if you specify it, what you want to achieve with it. Okay. Here we can also see right now, I don't know if I have any decisions. Yeah, so I have for this IP address and this IP address, I have two decision made. This one expires in 2 hours, this one in 22 minutes. Again, these are triggered from the Suricata major severity collection that it is installed, and I can know that these IP addresses are definitely not false positive because they have already been passed through the CTI. And if I check them here, I see malicious IP address and it's definitely good that it has been blocked. You might ask why I'm not blocking directly from Suricata, because you can have Suricata, for example, use it also in IDS mode, like I'm using it right now. So it's intrusion detection system. It's only on alerting. You can also have Suricata on intrusion prevention, but then I won't have this possibility to double check with CrowdSec CTI, and the IPs will get blocked indefinitely. So they are not floating. They are not something that you put there for a specific amount of time. And this is where you have the possibility to use the power of CrowdSec. For example, if you go to block lists and you check high background noise, you will see here that in the last 2 days, 3,000 something IP addresses have been added and 5,000 removed. So this is good that you do not want to block an IP address. For example, let's say a provider like OVH from France, where somebody starts up a VPS machine and is a bad actor, you block that specific IP address and you do not remove it anymore. And another service pops up after 2 weeks on that same specific IP address, and you are asking yourself, why isn't it working anymore? Okay. Just check, I don't know exactly. So here, the CrowdSec AS number whitelist, I made this quickly with post overflows. you have all the information right here. And after you create it, you will also see it in the service CrowdSec overview, post overflows. It's this one, AS number whitelist. It doesn't have a version or description because it's made manually, but this way, for example, I've put here two AS numbers that I want to skip and I don't even want to check them or get blocked. So they are completely bypassed, so whitelisted. Yeah, so for the if you want to install the collections, and you can find them here if you say Suricata. If you search, you have the logs, the alerts, individual, or you can have them in a collection. And in OpenSense, you have them in the plugins section. They should be here somewhere. This one, CrowdSec installed. You can check anytime for new updates. Check the change log. Always be cautious when updating. Each time OpenSense has an update, you can see in the change log if the CrowdSec plugin will have an update and what it contains, and if the engine gets a new version, and so on. But at least till now, my experience has been completely positive. So with CrowdSec itself as a plugin in OpenSense, I had 0 issues. You also have in the hub, you also have the protection or the collection for the OpenSense graphical user interface, that it reads the logs, and this one is the attack scenario for the brute force on the OpenSense web portal itself. So if you have OpenSense exposed on the internet, this is definitely a way to go. Even if you have it locally, it's good to have it because you do not know if you have any devices in your home that can be infected, and a compromise through lateral movement could be possible without the proper configurations. Okay. So this is the firewall bouncer, the collections, whitelist good actors, the scenarios for brute force and SSH brute force. Also, you have the description right here. This one is also modified. You can modify each of these for however you prefer, or different use cases. The parsers host overflows, the alerts, and finally the decisions. So this is mostly it in a nutshell, to say so. If there are any other questions regarding the Suricata configuration or the CTI script and how it works in the whole package, definitely reach out on the Discord channel, or you can reach out directly to me on the website. But I'm mostly active on Discord, so we can have a chat there. I can help you make your setup and do it as you please for your needs. I'm super thankful once again for having the opportunity to test CrowdSec and use it on a day-to-day basis for a home environment. And I am definitely keen on testing new solutions that involve CrowdSec. And I also forgot two more things regarding the Python script integration for the CTI. There is a link posted on my website for GitHub. You can grab it from there. And there is also one more article written on how to install the CrowdSec IPDex tool. That is a tool newly released by CrowdSec for checking all the information for one particular IP. And there is a step-by-step guide on how to install it if you prefer to install it directly in OpenSense. Since OpenSense is FreeBSD, you will have to do some, there are some prerequisites before having IPDex functional. Yeah, thank you once again, guys, for the opportunity. And I hope this webinar was helpful for you. And for anyone who wants to test the integrations or what I've presented, please reach back. Thank you. Have a nice evening.